Live, and we are here. Joe is with me on the series, Dancing with Numbers in Real Life. I want to thank you all for being here. And for those of you who are going to check this out a little later on, thank you for checking us out. Dancing with Numbers in Real Life was started as an attempt to normalize the conversations around numbers. 2 years ago, I wrote a book called Dancing with Numbers: Grow a Financially Healthy Business and Choreograph the Life That You Want. And now it's available on Audible. And the conversations that I had with business owners to bring this book to life were really inspirational, motivational to a lot of readers. And I figured, why not bring these kind of conversations in real life? And so that's what we started doing a couple of weeks ago. Joe is our third guest. And if I didn't say this, and if you didn't know from the beginning, my name is Trisha Tate. I'm CEO of FinCore. We're a fractional CFO services company. And my personal mission is to transform the lives of 10,000 business owners because I see entrepreneurship as a pathway to legacy and generational wealth building. And I look to accomplish that by providing financial education like this, financial resources and tools, and then financial consulting, which is what I do through the company FinCore. So today we have Joe Affelbaum, who is a serial entrepreneur at this point with three successful businesses, all built around the LinkedIn universe and portal. He's CEO of Ajax Union, which is a B2B marketing company. He is CEO of Evergreen Networking. He's a master networker, speaker, author as well. And then he also started a tech company, EVAI, which is a on the LinkedIn platform. I use it. It's a great product. But I know I'm not doing him full justice. So I'm going to let Joe speak a little bit more about himself and what's going on new with him.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate connecting with you and being on this platform. And also, thank you for having me speak at your book opening. That was a lot of fun when you
Yeah,
did when you
absolutely.
did the panel. That was really cool. I'm actually, as we're speaking right now, I'm having an AI review your LinkedIn profile and write
Wow.
a little bit about you, that you're the best-selling author, fractional CFO, blah blah blah, about your company that you founded in 2016, who your ideal client is, which is growth-minded small business owners, particularly women who are humble enough to ask for to seek help in managing their business finances. You have a background in Wall Street, working with powerhouses like Merrill Lynch and Citigroup. You went to school in Wharton, Duke University, and you have an MBA in finance. It just basically breaks it down. It even gives me like a little intro on how I can introduce you to my contacts, and I actually have a lead for you.
That's
Somebody,
awesome.
somebody I'm going to reach out to and send them your information. And it asks, and it also gives me a list of questions to ask you if we're networking. So it's just
It's such
really
a
really
powerful
cool.
tool.
So really cool that you can do that these days. And for me, I'm just obsessed with making things easier for other people. I feel like I go through a rabbit hole and I solve problems for myself using technology, and then I get that aha moment. And then once I get that aha moment, like when I got the aha moment around LinkedIn, initially LinkedIn was just like this black box. Like, what's LinkedIn? And for most people, it's a black box. But once I got the aha moment on LinkedIn, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is like the best thing. And so I started nerding out on LinkedIn. And from there, it's like once you know it, and you start using it. It's like a 24/7 networking event. It's really powerful. When AI became popular back in 2022, I started really nerding out on ChatGPT and all the other tools that come along with it.
Hmm.
And that's kind of like how I decided I'm going to solve a problem on LinkedIn using artificial intelligence. And I'm a person that just likes to play and likes to reverse engineer. You like to dance, I like to play. You like to dance with numbers, I like to play with numbers. Numbers don't lie. So
Yeah.
I love having a great time and building out technologies. Now with no code automation and no code development tools, you can actually connect the different AIs and not just have an assistant, but also have an agent. The difference between an agent and an assistant is an assistant helps you do a task when you ask it to do it. An agent, it's somebody that does it for you without you asking. It's like, we have a
Mm-hmm.
marketing agency. You said we have a marketing company. We have a marketing agency. The difference between a marketing company, it's like a company you call when you need something. But an agency is a company that does it for you on your behalf constantly. So we have technology now that will build robots, agents that can automatically update your Twitter for you, update your LinkedIn for you, update your YouTube, automatically take this video that we're doing right now and turn it into little clips and post it on TikTok on a regular basis. Create reoccurring posts on social media that just appear by themselves. You don't have to do anything. So it's just amazing what you can build these days. And you don't have to sit down and pay for an agent to do it for you. Like you
Mm-hmm.
could just have technology just do it. And of course, there's a fee for a server, but it's very minimal. Like the price, I think Elon Musk said that we're all going to be wealthy very soon. Like everybody's going to be wealthy because the robots are going to work for us. And so everybody's going to be able to afford to live a really great life, have a robot that you pay $400 a month that does everything for you. It does your plumbing, your electrical, it keeps you
That
company.
now that is super super scary.
Why? Why is it scary for a robot to do your plumbing?
I think it's scary, one, and two, it removes us from having the interaction and social connection that is slowly being eaten away at. But that's a conversation for a totally different day. What you have shared here is like the tech knowledge that you have built over time. I mean, you have marketing expertise, but you saw LinkedIn going a particular way. You see what's going on in the industry and macroeconomic factors that can improve, support, grow your business, and you're leveraging those to grow multiple businesses. And at this point, three businesses. But let's go back a little bit, right? Usually, tech stuff and even marketing and sales stuff is a little scary for business owners to tackle, right? You're an expert in that field. But there are other areas like finance, and I'm an expert in that field. And a lot of business owners that I meet are a little, don't feel as confident in or empowered with regards to managing their numbers. And my theory is that they didn't just wake up that way. There was something that was grew within them that they learned from childhood that needs to be unlearned. So my first question for you is, in your, like, what were your earliest memories of money and numbers? What were the lessons and who taught it to you?
Money. Money, 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 money.
Are you
I
gonna
mean,
rap for us, Joe, right now? No, 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 no. I'm sure you could, but no. I'd love to
um,
hear that story again.
yeah, but like the concept of money, like growing up, my my father and my mother had a very different relationship to money. My father still to this day doesn't really care about money. Like money is not important. Money will come. Money comes from God. Like money doesn't really matter, and like you don't need money. But on the other hand, my mother has a very different relationship with money. Money is extremely important. You need money. You have to work really hard for your money, and you have to respect it and invest it. So I had the conflict. I had
Mhm.
those two worlds of like, hey, money doesn't matter. Money's really important. I tended to the side of realizing very quickly that money gives you options. Money gives you freedom. So watching my mother struggle in her store on the Lower East Side, I got really worried. I was like, hang on a second. It's not easy to make money.
Mhm.
Money doesn't just come. It's something that you have to create. And I had no idea like how to make money. I just knew that my mother was trying to make money and she wasn't making enough of it and she was always worried about it. And so
Mhm.
like I attached money to like, oh my god, if I don't make money, I am going to die. Like I have to make money. I have to figure it out. And I associated with money with skills. Like the more
Mhm.
skills you have, the more money you're going to have. And so at a young age, I started learning skills, like all different types of skills. I started reading books. I remember I went over to my mother and I said, Ma, when I was 17, I said, Ma, you sent me to school to be a rabbi. I don't know how to make money, and I know that money is really important, but I don't know how to
Mhm.
make money. What am I going to do? And I was literally crying. And she said, "Get in the car." We had a station wagon at the time. I don't know if you remember back in the day,
Yes.
before the days of caller ID, there was station wagon. She said, "Get in the car and let's go to the library." And we went to the library, and she said, "Do you see that building right there? Go inside there." And she said, "Get whatever book you need to learn and learn it yourself." She said, "Formal education, going to college, that'll make you a living. You'll be able to be an accountant. You'll be able to be a professional. You'll be able to make a living. But self education will make you a fortune. That's how you're going to be able to
Mm.
really be able to become a multimillionaire and be very successful." And she wasn't wrong. All the things that I learned to build the fastest growing company in America, Ajax Union. We were on the Inc. 500, one of the fastest private growing companies in America. We were number 178. What the things that I learned wasn't because I went to school. I didn't go to. My daughter asked me yesterday. She's like, "What grade did you get in high school?" I was like, "I don't remember any of that. Like all that did not matter at all for what I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
Everything that I know is through coaches, mentors, consultants, hiring fractional CFOs, hiring people to support me. I mean, even right now, I have people that meet with me for several hours a week to teach me AI. Like I'm
Mm.
teaching hundreds of people AI, but I
Right.
myself am investing in people that have particular skills like Python, particular skills like using no code automation tools, particular skills like telephony skills to be able to create an AI that automatically makes calls for you and automatically has conversations with clients on your behalf. And I am learning those skills, but I'm not just trying to wing it and hope for the best. I'm actually investing and paying people to teach me. I'm joining communities and paying for communities because I
Right.
know the value. People that pay attention. And so if you're not hiring an outsourced CFO like Trisha, if you're not investing in those coaches and mentors and buying the books like Dancing with the Numbers, like if you're not doing that, then you're going to be challenged. You're going to be really,
Yeah.
really challenged and you're not going to be able to move. My mother was not willing to invest in coaches. There was also not an abundance of coaches like there is today. You go on LinkedIn,
Right.
everybody's a coach. But, you know, she didn't have access to Dancing with Numbers, a book about how to grow a financially healthy business and choreograph your life, the life that you want. She
Yeah.
didn't have that. She didn't have
Yeah.
access to that. And so, you guys watching this, you have access to a book like that. Get the book, invest the time to read it, have a conversation with Trisha because that's really what counts. So, for me, my earliest memory is realizing that it was going to be a struggle bus.
Mm.
And in school, I tried to sell things, and I quickly learned that you can't make money. You can't make real money like selling things in school one on one to people like sandwiches or mazes or like I was doing it more for fun because I enjoyed the process of it.
Right.
But I realized that's not really where the money was going to be. And frankly, even when I was 18, 19 and I started getting clients selling stuff on eBay and doing construction and I was honestly trying to get lucky, like my mother.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
at some point, I turned around and I realized it wasn't about luck. At some point, I just turned around and realized, hang on a second, it's not about luck. It's not about getting lucky. It's about having a strategy. It's about having a model, having a financial model, knowing where I was going to go, and that's how I was able to break from six figures to seven figures by actually having a strategy, and now hopefully eight figures, nine figures, and beyond. That's my goal with what I'm doing right now. But I have a very clear strategy. We have 10,000 people using our AI right now, and my goal is to help a million people. So, like, I'm going to be making a difference for a million people, solving a very specific problem for them on LinkedIn with Evie AI. It's just fantastic. I mean, even if you think about the fact that I have an AI that will text you a demo of Evie AI, like if you send the word demo, DEMO, to 973-841-8868, like if you literally send the word demo to 973-841-8868, you're going to get a demonstration video. My AI will send you a link to a demonstration video that you could watch on my LinkedIn profile. And
So I
then
want
a
to I
day,
want I want to I want to I just want to unpack a couple of things that you so like wonderfully shared. I wanted to let you go for a while, but I want to unpack a bunch of things that you said. So from your mother, You learn that you need to educate yourself in order to generate more money, right? You also
Yeah.
learn that money doesn't have to be a struggle bus. And thinking about money is not just about doing things to, you know, to get one customer, two customers. It's about having a strategy and about having a model. And then the third thing that you said, which you didn't directly say, but I interpreted from what you said, is that you have to be solving a problem, like focused, pinpointed on a problem that everyone has. And these are things now that you've learned now after three, having three successful businesses. But if we go back to year one, let's say year 1 to 3, right? You still have this mindset that money is lucky. You're still learning about financials. Can you talk to that person, that Joe, year 1 to 3, and what are some things you would tell him to do from a financial perspective? What would you tell him to do? What are some of the mistakes he's making? And if you were his mentor, what would you tell him to do?
Invest in Microsoft, invest in Apple, invest in Nvidia, invest everything you can find. Take every dollar you have, put it into these companies, and just hold it till you die.
Hold it till you die, and then you don't have to be CEO of a business. No, I agree.
Oh,
I would
no,
have
no.
told my
Take
person that too.
loans against it after. Take loans at some point against it. And then buy real estate that's cash flow positive. Like, you know what I mean? Just like
Yes.
1031 that real estate and just keep growing. What I would tell that Joe is worry about your mindset. Like focus on your mindset
Ooh.
because your mindset will help you be able to grow. Like get real, get complete with who you are. Like I have so many fears around who I was. I didn't
Mm,
love what I looked like. I didn't love what I sounded like. I really didn't love myself and I married someone who reflected that to me. You know, like now I'm divorced and I'm complete and I'm feeling really really great with my life. But I didn't really love, like if you don't love yourself, you won't think that you deserve to make money. Like you
right.
won't think that you deserve to be a billionaire. Like if I asked you, like you listening to this right now and comment on this. Are you complete? Do you feel like you deserve $1 billion? Just write, I
Mm.
deserve $1 billion. Or you could write, money's the root of all evil, blah, 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 blah. Are you complete with who you are? Can you show up? Can you show up? Are you on a mission? Like, can you fully, fully be open and share and not take things I posted something on LinkedIn and some guy wrote, how dare you shame me and blah, 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 blah in the comments. He gave me the middle finger in the comments and wrote this nasty thing. He literally put an emoji of the middle finger.
Because of his
And
insecurity.
I didn't even get triggered. Like I'm not messable with. Like you can say whatever to me. Like I didn't even go to the defensive part of like, oh, like I'm not. That wasn't me. Blah blah. I'm not even worried about his opinion. Like it doesn't matter. I replied. I apologize. I had AI write a reply in 2 seconds. I apologize for offending you. I'll be more careful with my language. Like it didn't matter to me. Like all that doesn't matter. Somebody
Mm.
yesterday in Ocean Parkway in Brooklyn. I dropped my daughter off at a theater and I'm making a right onto Ocean Parkway from Beverly or whatever to go
This
back to
is
New
in New York,
Jersey
by the way. This
in
is in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York.
And a
Yep.
guy pulls up to me and he doesn't like the way that I turned, that I was taking up too much of his lane or whatever. And he leans on his horn. I look to my left and I'm like, you got plenty of room. Like you can fit a semi tractor, two semi tractor trailers side by side. But he just didn't like the way that I was standing and I couldn't move forward because there was a car in front of me. So he leaned on his horn. He lowers his window, gives me the middle finger, and starts yelling, 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 yelling. And I'm just like breathing and I don't feel even attacked. I'm feeling complete. And as he goes away, I don't even have to shake anything off. I'm like, wow, that guy was hurt. That guy was hurting
Hmm.
inside. But if you don't love yourself, if you don't have the mindset of like you deserve love, your triggers are going to come up right away and be like, he agrees with the inner self. He must be saying the truth about me that I'm a piece of crap for turning the wrong way. Now I'm going to fight him and my ego is going to fight his ego and I'm going to get disheveled and chase him and like road rage and God knows what and
Yeah,
start
you
World War III.
listen, you also mentioned in the book that you had a partner and you divorced your partner.
I mean, I went through a lot of divorces. I divorced my partner, divorced my investor, divorced the mother of my kids. I had to kind of also divorce my fat self. I was 100 pounds
Mm.
heavier than I. I've gone through so many changes, so many shifts over just the past 10 years alone.
Right.
Just the past 10 years alone, from 2014 till 2024, I have gone through so many iterations of who I am. I was doing so many things and I've gone through so many shifts, and my life has transformed a lot. Like, people don't recognize me. They're like, "Joe,
Hmm.
you've changed."
What are
But the
some of the things that you did to transform your mindset around money? Some tactical things that the audience people can take away and that can probably help them.
Well, number one is realize that money is a direct reflection of the value that you're adding. So focus on adding value first. Like, I was always focused on, like, oh, I don't want anyone to steal my ideas. I don't want to take from me, take, whatever. Like, the more you give, the more you're going to get back. So you need to be comfortable with investing. Like, if you're a coach, let's say, for example, I'm talking to a coach, and you as a coach are not willing to make $100 a month investment in a community because you're too cheap. How the heck is somebody going to pay you $100 or 500 or 1,000? If you're not
Right.
willing to make the investment to hire an outsourced CFO for $1,000 a month, which that's typically what they cost. They'll cost $10,000 a year or whatever to have an outsourced CFO work for you.
Actually more than that, but yes.
Right, or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, if you're not willing to make a $10,000 a year investment in having a coach or somebody to help you, if you have a tiny business, let's say your business is 100K or
Yeah.
200K or 500K, and you're not willing to make a 10K investment in getting somebody to support you, then you're not really serious. You're not really serious about growing. You're not really serious about building your business. That's really what I would say. Like, if you're like even concerned, like if you want to do prospecting and you're concerned about spending the $100 in Sales Navigator, you're not really serious about investing. Like, you're not. You need to know that you need to invest smartly. You don't just waste money, but
Hmm.
you need to be comfortable with the investment, knowing that there's a level of risk and taking that risk. Like, if I didn't hire salespeople, I wouldn't have gotten where I got in my business. If I didn't hire employees, I wouldn't have gotten where I got. I couldn't have done it myself. I had
Hmm.
75 full-time employees. Now I could hire robots, but I still have to hire robots. I still have to learn how to train the robots. Now
Right.
I have 75 robots working for me. Then I had 75 employees working for me that acted like robots.
Right. Did you read any books? So, the first thing that I got here is focus on adding value. Second thing I got here was be willing to invest in the right support, hire the right people. Did you read any books or anything else
Yeah,
to shift your mindset?
there's a book called Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits: The Four Keys to Unlock Your Business Potential
Hmm.
by a guy named Greg Crabtree, an EO guy. That
Okay.
book was a game changer for me to understand, like, how much am I supposed to be paying myself as a CEO, and how do I think about money, like that type of stuff. But there's so many books. The Rich Dad Poor Dad was a great book to think about investments. So many great books that I've read over the years about money. But, thinking about yourself, your mindset, who you are, and whether or not you deserve the money will be the difference between being able to ask for it or not
Yeah.
ask for it. Like, if you're trying to make sales and you're not comfortable with sales, you're really not comfortable with yourself. Not that you're not
Mm.
comfortable with sales. You're not comfortable with sharing who you are and asking somebody for something because you don't feel like you deserve it. That's a very interesting concept.
So let me ask you a question about this. One of the things that's challenging for people is asking for money, asking for access to capital in order to fund growth or equity investment or something like that. Have you ever gone through that process and kind of what got you over the hurdle of asking for, financing?
Of course. I mean, I like when my clients finance my opportunity. That's my strategy. My strategy is get my clients to finance my opportunity. So when I wanted to launch Evie AI, the first step is get 100 clients to pay me before I launch the software. Not to say that they want to pay me, to actually pay me. And so I did that. I got 100 people to actually pay for Evie AI before Evie AI was even created or designed or anything. I just came up with the idea, I wrote it down, I did seminars about it, and told people the idea, and I said, if I'm only accepting 100 people into the beta, whoever wants to be the first, and 100 people paid, and I was just flabbergasted. But I wasn't
Mm.
flabbergasted because I did the same thing when I launched my goal setting masterclass back in 2016. And I did the same thing when I launched my LinkedIn course. And I did the same thing when I launched Ajax Union. I got 5 clients to pay me $599 a month before I even had employees to launch the
Wow.
business.
That I didn't know about you.
Yeah, like that's the name of the game. Some people think you need money to make money. Yeah, in the market, you need to invest some money to make money, but you know, I would say taking one step at a time and not stressing out about it is going to
Hmm.
be really key.
So now that you have three businesses, I'm sure it's hard to monitor what's going on in each from a day-to-day perspective. So what numbers, what scorecard, what do you look at to understand if the business is financially healthy?
Are we
Any
growing?
one of the three
Yeah, I
businesses.
would say let's say for example EVAI, are we growing? Are we shrinking? Is our reoccurring revenue growing? Are we getting more clients? What's
Mhm.
our retention look like? What's our churn look like? I get a scorecard every single week that tells me how many users we had last week, how many users we had this week. Are we moving in the right direction? Where are they coming from? What what is our how many clients canceled?
Mm,
What are we
that's a
doing
good one.
about that? Yeah, so like just looking at a few key performance indicators, not looking at everything, but
Hmm.
looking at a few key performance indicators will be really really helpful.
Yeah. And any other resources or tools that you would recommend to a business owner that they use to measure the financial health of their business?
It's very custom to your business. I would say it depends on your business. It depends on what you're trying to do. So if it's a service business like my marketing agency, like if you're not getting new customers, you're gonna fail. You need to get new customers.
Right.
So looking at your pipeline is really important. Looking at how many opportunities you have,
Hmm.
that's gonna be um, that's gonna be really key. Like it depends if you're a product or service. If you're a product, you want to be looking maybe at inventory levels, turnaround, your accounts receivable number, your cost of goods sold. Every business has different key performance indicators that they need to monitor, and also depending on where the bottlenecks are. There's a book called The Goal. Have you ever heard of The
Right.
Goal? It talks about
Yes,
the
with Herbie,
bottlenecks.
Herbie the bottleneck. I
Yeah,
learned that
so
one
if
in
you
business school at Fuqua.
yeah, that's one of the most important books out there because it talks about the bottleneck. So, the reason why you need KPIs is because of the bottleneck, because you're going to get a bottleneck, and a bottleneck is going to stop you from growing. That's what a bottleneck does. And so if
Right.
you want to grow a business, you got to know what's going on. You also have to know the different stages in your business. There are several books out there that you could read that talk about the different stages. Like in the beginning, um, there's there's a book called Predictable Success. Have you heard of Predictable Success?
That one I haven't. Nope.
Um, I've read so many incredible books out there.
It
Predictable
sounds.
Success is I honestly thought that it was just about getting skills. That's really the idea. But
Hmm.
also like it's a combination of getting skills and taking the right actions. So knowing what are the stages in your business is really really key.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this guy named Les McCone wrote this book called Predictable Success. He talks about the early struggle, which is the initial stage where a business struggles to secure enough customers and cash flow to survive, and the
Right.
primary challenge is to reach a viable market to achieve stable revenue base. Then there's the fun stage. After finding a market, the organization enters a stage of growth and excitement. Processes are informal, and the work environment is dynamic and entrepreneurial. So creativity and innovation drive growth. Then you start having issues. That's where the whitewater, the business grows, the informal processes used in the fun stage become strained. This leads to inconsistencies in performance, and the organization needs to implement more structured processes and systems to manage complexities, which, by the way, that causes a ton of tension in your business. So that's why it's called whitewater. It's like whitewater rafting. And
Hmm.
then you get to a place where you get the balance between processes and entrepreneurial, which is called predictable success. And this stage, the organization achieved a balance between creativity and fun and systems in the whitewater stage, and it can grow sustainably with effective leadership and management processes in place. And then at some point, if the organization overemphasizes systems and processes, it becomes bureaucratic and it loses the entrepreneurial spirit, and it leads into this concept called stagnation, which is a treadmill.
Hmm.
Creativity and flexibility are reduced, and the focus shifts on managing and leading. And then if you don't solve that, you get into the big rut, which the treadmill stage can deepen into a big rut of innovation, is stifled and the organization becomes irrelevant in the market and becomes very difficult. And then
This
it's
is like this is like this is like if I had an emoji, like the blow your mind emoji, I would put right here in the chat because this is all so very, very helpful and thoughtful. I don't think people think of their business in these various stages and what the challenges are, and then more importantly, how they need to solve for them and who needs to help them. I have a chart in my book and a chart that I that I leverage in my talks, which talks about these 5 stages of business growth, not in the way that this guy talking about predictable success has talked about it, but Harvard Business Review speaks to like existence, or I guess startup is what people would call it. There's this existence stage, and then there's another stage, and then there's the growth stage. I'll tell you exactly what it is because I'm going to just pull it up right now. Existence, there's survival, right? To your struggle, I guess, is the existence and survival stage. There's success, there's growth, and then there's maturity. And at each one of these stages, there's something that you should be focused on from a financial perspective. You alluded to a couple of them, and then there are different people you need to add to your team when that happens. And when you were talking about the fun in the whitewater issues stage, where now you need to implement processes and have the right systems in place, you also need the right data and the right numbers. And somebody reviewing those numbers with you to give you direction on how to shift and change the operation so you can improve. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. What was the name of this book again?
predictable success.
Predictable Success. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and there's
So
I've read hundreds of books about so
right.
many different topics, and like the knowledge is in my head. Now it's about really executing and making a difference within the companies that I'm really focused on. But a lot
Mm,
of the times people think that they need to keep learning and learning and learning and learning and learning. You got to keep learning, but you also have to spend most of your time executing. Not saying, "Oh, I'm going to spend all my time learning," because so many people get into this thing where they're spending all their time learning and they're not executing at all because it's a form of procrastination. It's called the paralysis of analysis. And so
right.
stop for a moment, pause, and if you're not executing, stop learning and start executing.
Absolutely. I think that this conversation has been so impactful, and there's a lot of nuggets of information, which is why I wanted to have you on this conversation, because when we were doing the interview for my book, you shared your story of lucky money, your mom's concept of, well, your concept of being lucky with money, to making sure that you have a strategy and you're solving a problem and adding value. Now that's how you make money. You don't just make money by selling this widget to this person. You're looking for the problem, you're solving the problem, and in so doing, finding the market, or you know, um, gaining a market through that. And I think at this point, it is safe to say that you have a different dance with your numbers. So my last question to you is, can you tell us how you used to dance with your numbers, that year one Joe, versus what is the analogy you would use on how you dance with your numbers today?
Well, the way that I used to dance with my numbers was I used to limp.
That's a good one.
I was
Oh,
limping. I was afraid of my numbers, and I would just say, "Here, you deal with the numbers. I'm not a numbers guy. I don't look at numbers. I don't understand P&Ls. I don't understand cash flow statements. I don't even look at it." I was really afraid of numbers. I was afraid. I was afraid of dancing. Some people are afraid of dancing. And
mm.
now I'm no longer afraid of dancing. Now I just kind of like, yo, here we go. Now I'm an ecstatic dancer. I'm just like, just going crazy, just going for it, not worried about what anybody thinks about me, just going for it. I got the music pumping. I'm enjoying my life. I'm vibing really high, I'm in daybreaker. I'm letting it go, you know. That's how I feel right now.
And if you follow Joe Applebaum on LinkedIn, you will literally see video footage of him at a rave, or at like one of those silent parties with the headphones and everybody's dancing to different music. Like, you literally. So I recommend everyone who is listening to the chat. There's so much information. There's so much value that Joe gives and that oozes out of his body. And you're right, you do vibrate really high. He connects to thousands of people. I wonder how many followers you have on LinkedIn right now. How many do you
Just
have?
under 50,000. I'll cross the 50,000 mark soon, but I keep
Dude,
deleting people.
dude, I thought 700 connections was okay. I was like, oh, that's okay. But under 50,000, how's that even? You've got to be like a lead person on LinkedIn. But anyway, I encourage everyone to connect with Joe on LinkedIn. His other companies, like I said, Ajax Union if you need B2B marketing, Evergreen Networking. Oh, he's a master networker. We didn't even get into that. And then Evie AI, which I am currently using. It can do so much, and it can help you automate some of your comments, your posts. It could even change, like you could even change the persona or how you respond. You want to be funny? You want to be thoughtful? Or do you want to be conversational and build a relationship? Like there's so many things
100%.
that you could do. Yeah. So
100%.
I want to thank you, Joe, for being here, for sharing your background, your journey with your numbers. I know that's not always easy to do, but you felt comfortable enough, like you said, be unmessable with. He was comfortable enough to come here and have this conversation, frankly, candidly, openly with us. And I appreciate you and I thank you for that.
I feel like when someone shares their life and their light with the world, they can really impact other people. And I know there's somebody out there that was touched by this. I know that there's somebody out there that watched this and said, wow, I was impacted in a positive way. And if that was you, hit me up. Let me know you watched this. Say you saw me on Trisha's program and that you were touched. I would appreciate that. And if you haven't gotten the book on networking, I actually wrote a book on networking called High Energy Networking. I have it right here. I hold it with me.
Hmm.
And I love reading this book and
I
I
think I
love
got
living
that
the
book
book.
too. I got it somewhere over here. Anyway,
Okay. Anyway, but yes, I appreciate you very much, Trisha. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for having me on this program. And remember, the secret to living is giving. So thank you for being here.
yeah. So, once again, thank you, Joe. For those of you who are in the audience, we will continue this series. I would love to have this series be weekly, but right now we're doing a couple times a month just to try it out. I would love for you, if it's impactful to you, if you have takeaways, actionable items that you implemented into your business and got benefit, I would love it for you to drop it in the comments or message me privately on LinkedIn. Let me know what the benefit has been to you. And if you have recommendations for a business owner that you know that you would love for them to have this conversation with me, give me those recommendations and suggestions as well. Again, my name is Trisha Tate. I am CEO of FinCore, and I am also author of Dancing with Numbers, Grow a Financially Healthy Business, and Choreograph the Life That You Want on Amazon and on Audible. Perfect for long summer vacation. Want to read a book? There's many books that you got here. Thank you, and I will see you all next time in a couple weeks where we'll have another great CEO.
Bye,
Bye now.
everybody.